A benevolent sky spattering down on the tropical sands here of Honolulu, Hawaii. A gorgeous day. Nevada taking on Southern Miss. Southern Miss 11-2 coming into the game, but Jessica Mendoza, the numbers really don't tell the story of how this team has come together during the last year. It all goes back to a near tragic incident last year.
Well, if you look closely, you can still see the scars down the side of linebacker Tim Green's neck. Green, along with teammate Dedrick Jones and former teammate Martez Smith, were shot outside of a nightclub last November. Smith was paralyzed from the waist down, while both Jones and Green were able to return to their football team this past August. I spoke with Coach Larry Fedora yesterday, and he told me this team is as close as he's ever seen them before. That tragedy has caused them to have more chemistry, be more mature, and he said they are the sole reason why that this team has more success than any team in the past. In fact, I spoke with Tim Green yesterday, and he told me that anytime any of his players start slacking off, all he has to do is point to those scars, and they will play with more want and more perspective than they ever have before.
And, you know, Dedrick Jones, a young man who wasn't able to get back in the weight room. He was shot in the shoulder until late this summer. And he also had to change positions. He was a defensive end. Dan Dish, the new defensive coordinator, came in, changed the defense. So not only did this young man have to fight back from the gunshot wound, but he had to get his upper body strength back and learn a new position. He'll start for the final time tonight for Southern Miss.
One of the great comeback stories in all of college football this year, and a season rife with turbulence and a lot of controversy. It's nice to hear about something where the human spirit really has triumphed here. As Southern Miss winning the toss, deferring to the second half. Nevada will receive the kick. And this is Kendall Brock. There's a flag down, and Brock is brought down at the 15-yard line.
During the return, holding, number 43, receiving team. Half distance to the goal. First down, Southern Miss.
That's going to bring it back a few more yards. There's a look at Nevada's starting quarterback. The official getting it wrong. It's actually Nevada with the ball to start this game off. Quarterback Cody Fajardo, the 6'2 redshirt freshman. This year's WAC Freshman of the Year, had a good season, completing over 71% of his passes, 6 passing touchdowns and 11 rushing touchdowns.
He's out. He will be without his top 3 wide receivers. Rashard Matthews not able to go. He was cleared medically, but just didn't feel comfortable in knee. He hurt against Idaho.
Nevada running the ball. That's number 29, Lamford Mark. As we take a look at our impact players on the gain of 5.
Well, with Matthews out, Shane Anderson still out, and Corbin Laux also out. Lamford Mark will take the charge more at the running back position, and expect Arensi, the tight end, to get more involved in the passing game. 26 receptions on the year, so he can work the middle of the field. And defensively, Marquise Wheaton, 3 interceptions. He also has 3 touchdown returns, 1 on a punt block, 1 on a fumble return, and 1 on the interception.
Very opportunistic defense for Southern Miss as Nevada runs it. This is Mark again for 3 yards as we take a look at the rest of the Wolfpack offense. Their top 3 receivers are not in the ball game due to different injuries. And there's a look at some of the skill players trying to pick up some of the offensive load, and the guys up front trying to clear the way.
And they're going to have to lean on this group. This pistol offense, you can throw it, you can run it. Obviously, they're just about 50-50 at 250 yards apiece. I would expect this game to slant towards the run with the wind and those receivers out.
Well, the wind's certainly going to be a factor. They run it again 3 consecutive times. That's Mark, who comes up a little bit short. As we take a look at the defense, it's going to be 4th down and short coming up. About a yard to go. And it looks like they're going to go for it here. Actually, they got the first down. Check that. Take a look at that secondary that has had 8 interceptions returned for touchdowns this year.
That is a NCAA record, broke a record held since 1971 by Tennessee. So this new 4-2-5 defense, very aggressive.
There's Fajardo, almost intercepted. They almost gave him one there. Johnson with a near pick. Well, you can hear the wind, and it is seasonably warm here, right around 80 degrees. 78 today in the Honolulu area. In Reno, it's 40. And in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, a balmy 54.
But every coach will tell you, rain, snow, nothing affects your game as much as wind. Kicking game, the passing game. That time, you saw the ball come off a little wobbly on Fajardo and almost ended up in the field.
Heads it off to the first man through. Cordero Law making the stop on Mark, and Law, a.k.a. The Law, as he's dubbed by his teammates, had a great year. First team All-Conference USA.
And he's a guy who, frankly, took some plays off early in his career, and the coaches continued to sit him down. He was a running back in high school, very athletic guy. Really focused in during the summer and fall, has played with a much higher motor, more effort, and I think has really improved his stock in the NFL draft.
3rd and 11, a little pressure coming on Fajardo. Can't escape and sacked back at the 14-yard line. So this time, Southern Miss stops Nevada on 3rd. Snowden and Thornton making the stop on the play.
Yeah, and you've got Cotton coming in on the blitz, the third safety. When you run a 4-2-5, 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, you have 3 safeties. So that time, the safety Cotton came down and made a big some pressure and made Fajardo run. Nobody open, and this wind is really affecting the ball right now.
That's whipping up, and this is Lampley on the kick return. Tracy Lampley had a great game in the Conference USA title game. The last time Southern Miss took the field, a 36-yard punt, 19 on the return, and that guy, Lampley, was the MVP of that upset against Houston. Although if you ask Southern Miss, Ed, it really wasn't much of an upset because Austin Davis, the starting quarterback, has put up some outstanding numbers this year.
And he's a guy, you know, we were talking at the beginning of the show, teams flying under the radar. I think when NFL scouts start to really break this young man down, I think his stock is going to go through the roof. He's big enough. He's got plenty of arm. The ball comes out quickly. Watch how accurate he is, even in this wind. Well,
his receiver unable. Nice jinx. His receiver,
on that one, yeah.
Valentine, unable to corral that ball as we take a look at our impact players for Southern Mississippi.
And right out of the gate, they were going to Ballantyne. But Tracy Lampley, you mentioned, a guy who plays running back, wide receiver everywhere. Ballantyne has the best hands on the team, and for Nevada, it's all about Brett Roy up front in that defensive tackle position.
This is Johnson running the ball. Picks up about 4 on the play. Burnett making the stop as we take a look at Brett Roy, one of the guys to keep an eye on up front.
I mentioned at the start of the show, he didn't even make second team all-conference last year, and he felt slighted. He used that as motivation because a lot of people may be thinking that Dante Moak, who played next to him, was the reason he had such big numbers. He actually improved his tackles and sacks, even though Moak moved on to the NFL.
3rd and 6. It looked like there was a little movement on the left side of the offensive line. Lamar Holmes, the all-conference selection.
False start, number 72, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's a big penalty on 3rd down to go from 3rd and medium to 3rd and long.
Well, that might fall on the shoulders of these receivers. They kind of do it by committee, don't they?
And Bolden is a 4-3 guy, and Blake Anderson, his offense coordinator, said he runs a 4-3 in every facet, on the track and on the field.
This offensive line surrendering just 15 sacks in 13 games so far this year. Out of the backfield, incomplete. And it's 4th and long, punting time now for Southern Miss as Woodyard unable to grab that pass.
This feels like both teams just, you know, you talk about it all bowl season long. Which team wants to be there, which team's focused. Right now, neither team really seems focused and crisp. I think the wind has something to do with it, but I also think that both the teams having a little bowlitis right now.
Payne punting, averaging almost 43 yards per punt on the season. This is a nice high spiral. Oh boy, he stuck it all the way down to the 7-yard line. A 49-yard punt, nothing on the return, and it's something that's afflicted maybe all of us during the last several days. The Hawaiian flu. Catch it, baby. Welcome back, everyone, to the 10th anniversary of the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. And look at the respective distances for the two teams, 4,200 and about 2,600 miles. Either way, Eddie Cunningham, it's not a short hop. And what kind of effect does it have on your legs coming over here?
Well, if you're here long enough, you usually can overcome that. But listening to the list of things that Jessica mentioned that Southern Miss did and their performance so far, I think that 4,000 plus miles is still wearing them down a little bit.
Windy day here at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Back for the second quarter. Nevada with the football. missing their most potent weapon offensively in this game. Rashard Matthews out with an injury. They run it on first down. That was Mark. He's brought down immediately on the play. Second down and long coming up for Nevada.
It's Raheem Nunez getting some time in there. A guy who has not played a ton this year. Makes a nice play. Was awfully excited about it.
It's an offense that averages over 250 yards passing and rushing per game, but so far unable to get on track. And Fajardo under some duress throws behind his receiver, incomplete, and no flag on the play. It'll be 3rd and long. Intended for Trey Session. And the next bowl up. Capital One Bowl Week continues with 2 games Tuesday on ESPN. First at 4:30 Eastern Time, Western Michigan and its high-powered passing attack, led by Alex Carter, meets Purdue. That's going to be on Tuesday, but Monday the next one with Missouri and North Carolina. That pass incomplete. They'll have to punt in a blink. And intended for Aaron Bradley.
And for Chris Ault, who calls the plays for Nevada, this has got to be frustrating. You think about all of the guys. Rashard Matthews, 91 catches, led the WAC. I mentioned he was in the game against Idaho in that 4th quarter in a blowout. A lot of people wondering why he was in. They were trying to get him to be the #1 receiver in the MAC, but he's out. Corbin Laux is out. They'd already been missing Shane Anderson. Tough going.
Oh, they come after the punt, and they got it. Southern Miss blocks the punt for a touchdown. Becton Martin comes up with the fumble recovery off the block.
And I believe that was Tim Green who got the block as he went up over the personal protectors. I believe it was Green, and let's watch as Green comes free. This big offensive lineman. Well, that looked like because these personal protectors were so close, I don't know that was blocked as much as kicked into the back of his personal protectors.
Yeah, that'd be great to see that replay again. Let's take another look. The trajectory on the punt looked to be a little bit low. Oh, he got
it. What a great job by Green.
Tim Green selling out, continuing one of the great comeback stories in all of college football this year. Big moment a few seconds ago. Tim Green blocking the punt, resulting in a touchdown. Ed, how did it happen?
And watch how Jake Hurst gets very close. Watch the distance come together as he goes to punt. Typically, you tell your personal protectors they have to move up a little bit. And because Hurst is standing right behind them when he kicks, a great athletic play by Tim Green, times it perfectly, gets his hand out and blocks it. And what a great story for the senior. Comes back from a gunshot wound to the throat, and as a senior in the bowl game gets a block punt for the first score of the game.
They've had 25 different players now score a touchdown this year. 13 non-offensive touchdowns for Southern Miss. So you can almost imagine their defense coming onto the field sometimes telling the offense, hey, just hold them. Just hold them until we get back on the field.
Great athletic play by Green. You see guys do that all the time where they time it out to make that jump, and it's rare because of those big bodies that you're able to get there. But a little bit of a mistake by the punter. Seemed to get just a little too close to those personal protectors.
First points of the game coming on special teams for Southern Miss. On return, this is Khalid Wooten. Wooten wrapped up at about the 19-yard line by Thompson. Let's go downstairs to Jessica for more.
Well, speaking of Tim Green, everything that he's been through, one of the other players and teammates that was shot, Martez Smith, is at home with his family on Christmas Eve watching this game. He talked to Tim Green this week and said, hey, enjoy this. It is a blessing for you to just be there. Have that perspective. Tell the team to enjoy it. You're in Hawaii, you're champions, and just get that bowl championship.
Great moment for these players to share as a team. First down and 10. Gaping hole up the middle for Lamford Mark. And the Wolfpack making a little bit of noise on that run out to the 45-yard line. Marquise Wheaton finally making the stop, but a 31-yard gain.
Good push up front. And once again, just great feet by Chris Barker, flopping the offensive line, this time lined up at the left guard. But Barker, a really good athlete for 305 pounds. That time got a hit on the nose guard and then was able to work up on the linebacker Snowden.
On 1st and 10, Fajardo completes it out of the backfield. Now Stephon Jefferson picking up 6 on the play. Nice rope thrown on 2nd and 4, complete to Bradley. Wheaton making the stop and a first down on the pass.
And Fajardo seeming like he's getting some more confidence in his throws. I mentioned earlier Chris Alt was a quarterback in college. He still coaches that group and calls the plays. But he seems to have figured it out a little bit here with this wind in the second quarter. I think it goes back to, even though it was an incomplete pass earlier deep in their own territory in the first quarter, remember that nice crisp throw he had, starting to look like that more.
Fajardo keeps it himself and takes a hit at the 37-yard line from Cotton. That jarred his pads loose. And you know, when you talk about the offensive system that they run, head coach Chris Alt of Nevada says that the pistol offense really has been the reason, the barometer for their success through the years.
You know, when you study the pistol, the first thing you see is obviously the quarterback not in a true shotgun. But what you don't realize is it makes it more of a power running game because the running back gets the ball with more momentum towards the line of scrimmage.
As Mark did right there, powering ahead for the first down.
When you see a true shotgun run game in the spread, typically the running back is standing right next to the quarterback. So when he's handed the ball, he's at a dead stop. And in this, the pistol offense, it's more like the quarterback being under center, where the running back has some momentum towards the line of scrimmage. This is basically an inside zone run team, very much like what Oregon does. But because the quarterback is in front of the running back has a little more speed towards the line of the scrimmage when he gets the ball.
10th play of the drive coming up. Ricardo keeps it himself. Made a little something there. Pushed out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. Picks up about 3. Pushed out by Wilson.
And Tim Green is playing a whale of a ball game. We already saw him with the blocked punt for the touchdown, but this time a perfect read on the quarterback zone read. He walked up, stayed square, made the quarterback bounce it to the outside where his help was. Read perfectly by the senior.
They're playing in his last game for Southern Mississippi. 2nd down and 8. Step drop. Fajardo completes it to his receiver at the 15-yard line. That was Bradley working against Marquise Wheaton.
He doesn't even look like the same quarterback from the first quarter. Ball's coming out. It's a tight spiral. It's getting out quicker, more confidence. And I give the coaching staff and Chris Alt a lot of credit. This young man looked like he may have been in his head a little bit. At the start of the game, they got him settled down, and now you're starting to sense, even with his top 3 receivers out, why they made the change 4 games into the season.
Looking at the reigning WAC Freshman of the Year. Ricardo hands it off this time to Mark. Picks up about 3 over the left side. Wilson making the stop for Southern Miss. Under 8.5 minutes to go. Nevada looking for its 8th win of the season, trying to change their fortunes a little bit here in Honolulu. Chris Alt, the head coach of the Wolfpack, just 2-6 in bowl games coming into this one. Of course, last year they had just that 1-loss season, won their bowl game out in San Francisco. And Mark already has gone over 100 yards rushing. They run it, and touchdown Wolfpack. Lamford Mark marks the spot for a score. And a very impressive march down the field. for the Wolfpack. And for Mark, it's his 9th rushing touchdown of the season and the 15th of his career.
And the right guard pulls out in front of, the center, Jordan Mudge, and Mudge does a nice job because the man he's supposed to block ran up the field. Instead of chasing him, he led up into the hole and got a block that finished it for the touchdown.
The extra point good, and we're knotted at 7 with 7:45 to go here in the first half of play. Already with 6 consecutive 100-yard games, Lamford Mark putting his mark on this one. Season's greetings from all of us at ESPN to all of you at home. Mark Jones chopping it up with Ed Cunningham and Jessica Mendoza down at the sidelines. Tied at 7. Melekelikimaka, as they like to say here in Honolulu. Season's greetings. And things starting to heat up a little bit down in the field as both offenses, or at least Nevada's, looking very impressive on that last drive. Esther on the return. Stopped up at about the 26-yard line.
The first guy I thought of when I started studying Austin Davis was Drew Brees. Built like him, throws like him, feels like he has a command of the field like him.
Here's a double reverse and nothing happening. Wolfpack sniffing that one out. Staying home on the play. Johnson making the stop on Bolden.
James Michael Johnson, a young man who's been invited to play in the Senior Bowl, which of all of the All-Star games is the most important. The Senior Bowl is coached by NFL coaches. There are more scouts, more coaches for the NFL at that All-Star game than any of the others. So a real good chance for him down in Alabama to make his mark.
Got one more clip for the highlight reel there. 2nd and 21. Davis hands it off. A gain of 2 by Desmond Johnson. So it's up 3rd and long now for Southern Mississippi, for a team that put up 38 points per game this year. Ed, things arrhythmic right now. No flow for them.
And their offensive line for Southern Miss struggled earlier in the year. They had real struggles against Louisiana Tech. They had struggles against Marshall in that loss. And they talked all week about the movement of this defensive line for Nevada. That time, Kalen Burnett came on an inside loop to make that play.
Davis completes that pass out to about the 26-yard line. That's going to be way short of the first down. Actually, it's incomplete. Intended for Bolden and broken up nicely by Fry. Isaiah Fry and Wooten doing a nice job on those receivers today. And
talked about
and long coming up.
We've talked about all the interceptions for Southern Mississippi. Fry and Wooten combined have 9 interceptions on the year, 4 for Wooten and 5 for Fry. So this is a defense, and watching them the other day in one-on-ones against their receivers, these corners are pretty good in Nevada.
Peter Bain punting from his own 5. It's a Golden Eagle bounce and continues to bounce all the way down to about the 32-yard line. A 51-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Oh, I know what he's doing.
Is that a shark coming?
No, hang 10. You know, Hawaii is the only U.S. state that grows coffee. There are over 6,500 acres in coffee statewide, and annual production is 6-7 million pounds of the beans. Coffee is harvested annually. Some places start as early as July and finish as late as January. So some more facts right there about the great state of Hawaii. And I tell you, we had a chance to snack on some of the pineapple down there on another topic. 1/3 of the world's supply. Pretty good at the production meeting last night. I took some back to my room.
If you have not had a true cup of Kona coffee, and you're a coffee connoisseur, as am I, you owe yourself a treat. It is different tasting than anything you've ever had.
What these teams look like they could use a little bit of caffeine right now down in the field. The Wolfpack have awakened a little bit in the last series anyway. Impressive drive for a touchdown. Here's Fajardo. Completes the pass to Bradley. And Bradley with a little yardage after the catch all the way down to the 48-yard line, working against Wheaton, perhaps the best corner for Southern Miss.
Bradley, a young man who had missed 2 games late in the season, had a great performance against Idaho with 136 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, just a freshman. So starting to get some freshman to freshman consistency there. Of course, with the top 3 wide receivers out, they need someone like Bradley to step up.
Backside pressure for Jardo, gets it off in time, but fires high. Intended for Trey Session. 2nd down and 10. What do you think of the work of the redshirt freshman and freshman of the year in the Western Athletic Conference so far?
First quarter looked bad. It looked like he was out of sorts. The ball was not coming out of his hand on time. He made the bad decision down inside his own 10-yard line that resulted in interception. But since the end part of that first quarter, and we saw Chris Alt talking to him, he looks like a completely different player. And we're starting to see the player that middle to end season run that they went on, why they made that change.
Set up the receiver screen, complete to Bradley. A couple of sweet moves. Put a little shake in the game all the way down to the 45-yard line.
Boy, that is great open field running by Bradley.
Picked up 9 on the play. It'll be 3rd and short coming up.
Play looked like it was dead to right. Skyrie Thornton, a defensive tackle, was standing right there ready to make the wide receiver screen tackle. Makes him miss, ducks underneath, has to make a couple of offensive linemen miss who are out there just kind of standing around. That looks pretty good in the open field.
Is this 2 down territory, Ed?
I think so.
No need, 2 down. He's going to take it now. Lamford Mark, touchdown Wolfpack.
This play, with a backside guard pulling up in the hole, has just gutted the Southern Miss defense. Mark doing a nice job just staying on his track, making little moves. He's not making big moves. But that play right there has been the demise of Southern Miss so far.
And for Mark, heading towards a career day. You know, the last time he played in Honolulu, it was a bowl game. He made his first career start. And boy, he's turning it all the way back and having a good afternoon here. What does Larry Fedora do next? Looking for a button to press. A look at Diamond Head in the background. And things really rolling.
Shark.
Yeah.
Every time I see it, I think we're going to see a fin go.
Hey, there's a land shark right now. His name is Lamford Mark. Doing it for the Wolfpack offense. I talked about the last time they played in a bowl game here. He made his first career start. And the balance of the Wolfpack offense paying dividends right now. They lead 14-7. A short kick down to the 9-yard line. This is Hester on the return and making like another Hester. Playing on Sundays. Hester, one man to beat, and he fumbled it. Nevada recovers. And the Wolfpack have the ball.
What an unbelievable job by Khalid Wooten. Never giving up on the play.
Tracked him down from behind. And what a turn of fortune after a great kickoff return.
And this is exactly what you coach. Great speed when he saw the opening, but watch Wooten, number 2 on the left side there, chops it right out. Great hustle by Wooten. A huge break for Nevada.
Thaddeus Brown making the recovery.
Just right on the ball, perfectly timed. The ball being carried fairly well. It's not like that ball was out and loose and away on the ball carry, but Wooten just hammered it right at the perfect time.
Fajardo tucks it under and pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. We saw the fumble, and you've preached and you've taught this year about 4 points of pressure when you carry the ball. How many do you think he had there on that kickoff?
3. It got a little away from his body. Hester let that ball get away, and that happens when you're full tilt. You always think, oh, I'm okay, and you let that ball go away from you a little bit. But that was just Wonderful play by Wooten. It wasn't completely sloppy ball carrying. I just think Wooten timed that perfectly, hit the ball right at the right time as the runner was bringing the ball up. So that force met the downforce, ball comes out.
2nd and 6. This is Lamford Mark again over the left tackle. Mark with 6 consecutive 100-yard rushing games, and a little too early, pardon me, for Hester and his teammates to hang their heads right now. Still only a 14-7 game. What would a score do here with just under 4 minutes to go in the first half for Nevada?
I would be for Nevada.
We got this.
You can hear it in the audio there. We got this. They're starting to feel their confidence. Hey, you know what? We're just better than these guys right now. And I think another score for Nevada. I just don't know what Southern Miss is going to do. They have not played well at all the entire game. What happens if they go down 14 in the first half?
Mark again, this time between the tackles, picks up about 3.
And I think for Nevada right now, because they have the momentum, because Mark is running the way he is, don't take any chances right now. You're playing against a defense that's the best in the history of college football in returning interceptions for touchdowns. So take the guy who's gone 6 straight for 100 games, wear him out, wear out this run from Southern Miss, and try to get the 3 minutes and 7 seconds off the clock.
Well, 4th and short coming up.
And I think I agree with this call. I think this is a go for it down. The way you're playing, run the ball, pick up the first, keep the clock running.
Dardo hands it off, and they're not going to get it. Southern Miss is going to take over on downs in good field position. Cordaro Law, the guy they refer to as strictly the Law for Southern Miss, makes the play.
And Law does a wonderful job. He comes down inside, working one-on-one on the tight end, Scott Frisbee, and spins back out to make the tackle. Frisbee does not maintain contact, and what a nice athletic move by Law. I mentioned he was a running back in high school. That's like a spin move when you get tackled. He was getting pushed down inside by Frisbee, spun back out, and lo and behold, there was an early Christmas present, the running back on 4th down.
And man, look at him. Some people question his motor and his determination last year and his lack of consistency, but no such problem or issue this year. He leads the team with 7.5 sacks on the season, described as a real quiet kid, but his play making noise on that last one. This offense has amassed just 79 yards so far. Quick slant, pass complete to number 18, Dominic Sullivan. Same to you. 2nd and 7 after the run by Tracy Lampley. Full timeouts remaining. 3 remaining for Southern Miss. Little heat coming from the defense. Incomplete. Intended for Ballantyne.
That was great coverage there by Fry. You kind of get the feeling that these defensive backs for Nevada read all the clippings about Southern Miss and how great their secondary is and all the returns. And Fry and his mates, Wooten, who made that great forced fumble on the kickoff return, these guys came to play.
On the run into the boundary, nowhere to go. That defense swarming on Tracy Lampley. 4th down coming up.
Southern Miss is just sleepwalking through this game. They get a big play. Cordaro Law comes up with a huge stop on 4th down. And here you are on 4th, and you're sending out your kicker with a strong right to left wind. Boy, this feels like it might get blocked. If you don't get it, you're giving good field position to Nevada. I'm not sure you don't go for it here on 4th down.
Danny Rapman going to attempt this one from 49 yards out. From 48 yards away. And he knocks it through with plenty of room to spare. With 1:21 to go in the first half. Let's take one more look.
Ratman, a young man who had a sensational year last year. His first team All-American, hit 26 field goals, which was a Southern Miss record. Had a rough start to the year, has not been very good from beyond 40, but he hit that ball very well. He hit the ball earlier well, too, just pushed it a little bit to the right.
We got to remember that Southern Miss took over on downs on that 4th and short gamble by Nevada that didn't work out. Well, that arc of the rainbow is long, and the team's hoping that it bends towards something good at the other end of it.
I'm pretty sure if you look at the arc of that rainbow, that lands on my rental car.
Who would have ever thought that with just 92 total yards on offense, Golden Eagles would be trailing by only 4. On the return, this is Wooten. And Wooten brought down at the 24-yard line. Looks like a fumble. Still not blown dead. And Southern Miss maybe gets a break here. Emmanuel Johnson recovering the loose ball, or was it blown dead? Confusion reigning on the field still.
That looked like a fumble to me. It looked like the ball came out. Good hit. Ball's too far away from the body. Getting a little sloppy there. See how it keeps coming away from his body. And
yeah.
And that ball that hit right on the point of the ball. Cameron O'Neal.
Oh, but he recovered it and he's down. Right. So he's down when he recovers it.
Let's see if the fumble caused by O'Neal turns into points.
Big 7 today.
Excuse me.
Have been all non-offensive plays. Big one, the punt block for the touchdown. You take a shot right away here?
Why not? You know, you see that momentum come. Take it.
Bolden and Valentine, their most dangerous receivers. Davis throws it out of bounds. The closest person to it was Desmond Johnson. It'll be 2nd down and 10, 1:08 to go, and a couple timeouts remaining.
And that's the key right now with those 2 timeouts. You really don't have to worry about the clock, except if you do something where the clock continues to run and your players are spread all over the field and it's going to take them a while to get back to their positions, go ahead and use that timeout. You don't want this to creep down into 30, 20 seconds where you feel like you have to rush.
Davis with time, finds his man at the 15-yard line and close to a 1st down. It's Dominique Sullivan. And they give him the 1st down on the catch. He picks up 11.
And now you got to go fast. The clock's going to start as soon as the 1st down chains are set.
Davis hands it off straight ahead inside the 10 to Johnson down to the 9-yard line. A pickup of 5.
And I think you should use a timeout here if you're Southern Miss. Let's see when this clock, what it gets down to. Is 51 seconds when the tackle was made. Let's see how fast they get the snap off. You've got the 2 timeouts.
Davis into the end zone, jump ball and incomplete, intended for Sullivan again. A lot of contact there as he was working against Fry. 3rd and 6 coming.
Now, the incomplete pass obviously stops the clock, but on 3rd down, you can still pick up the 1st. I think this is all Austin Davis. Maybe a draw, maybe you could get a draw in here, but just be ready to use that timeout. You're inside of 40 seconds. It's going to go fast if you run the ball.
He looks Sullivan's way. Incomplete. Looked like it hit him in the hands, but he didn't seem like he turned around in time.
Well, and this is what's called the back shoulder fade, where usually when you run the fade, you lob it up. But this time you throw what's called a buzz throw. It's a flat throw coming in fast. What great. Not quite pass interference. I like the no call that time. Fry was in great position. Yeah, the hands were there, but he was not changing the body of the receiver, Sullivan.
Keep an eye again on Dominique Sullivan. 6'4". He's a tall target. They run it. Davis keeps it. Gets enough for the 1st down. And now the clock becomes an issue. No timeouts remaining, remember.
And you don't have to spike it here. You can throw a quick fade. And Southern Miss, they're gonna eat some clock here. They're not quite set.
1st and goal. They go empty, passing formation into the end zone. Touchdown! Caught by Lampley. And fisticuffs throw.
Boy, this is bad. I think we're going to have an ejection here. Marlon Johnson appeared to throw a punch.
Well, it's nice to see the teams being separated as the officiating crew gets things under control in a brief moment of fisticuffs.
Play resulted in a touchdown. After the play was over, personal foul, number 8, defense. Personal foul, number 68, offense. Those fouls canceled. The extra point will be attempted from the 3-yard line.
So the penalties against Joe Duhan, the starting guard, and Marlon Johnson, the DB. Here's one more look at it. And by the way, it was a great catch.
Yes, and a wonderful throw by Davis. But watch as they get up. Pushes him in the chest, and then right there, well, it was a push in the face. Boy, it looked to me there at the end that Johnson did throw a punch. He's really lucky he didn't get ejected from this game.
Sometimes it takes that one defining moment. It takes that one provocation that wakes you up and gets you jump started. Chris Ault's team trailing by a field goal at the end of the first half, 17-14, as Chris Ault tries to improve his bowl record to 3-6. And Southern Mississippi, in their 10th consecutive bowl game, looking for their school record 12th win of the season, as we go downstairs to Jessica with Coach Fedora.
Coach, you have a typically very high-scoring offense. How do you continue manufacturing points in the second half?
Well, we got to start playing on offense. All we've done is shot ourselves in the foot the whole game with penalties, and we're really playing poor on offense right now.
A lot of emotion there after that touchdown. What did you tell your team? How'd you calm them down?
I mean, we just got to go out and play ball. We ought to have that kind of emotion all the time. We shouldn't have to wait for something to happen to have that kind of emotion.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, you get the feeling that Coach Fedora not really sorry about the fact that they had that little outburst. They've got the lead on the scoreboard right now. Right now, back to the H&R Block Studio Halftime Report with Mike Hill. So, welcome back, everyone, to the warm waters, the balmy shores of Honolulu, the 10th anniversary of the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. Aloha. Mele Kaliki Maka, Mark Jones, Ed Cunningham, Jessica Mendoza down on the sidelines joining us in just a few moments. A very memorable end to the first half, moving forward into the third quarter. In wake of the fisticuffs, who has the advantage coming out of the locker room?
Believe it or not, Southern Miss, I think they stole the momentum there in that last kind of 5 minutes. This game felt like it might get out of hand for Nevada, but now Southern Miss gets it back, and I think the question becomes, can Nevada answer? Because they got hit in the mouth pretty hard there at the end. They didn't do much to hurt themselves. Southern Miss gets a blocked punt, but they're doing nothing, Southern Miss, offensively. But you've got to think that will get them some momentum in the second half. Right?
Take a look at our first half stats brought to you by American Airlines. And, you know, when you look at those numbers, it underscores the point almost that statistically, Southern Miss was dominated by Nevada, 235 total yards to 109, yet the Golden Eagles had the lead at the end of the first half.
20 yards of offense in the second half for Ole Miss and 17 points.
The return, this is Hester. It was Hester that had the great return and then subsequently fumbled it. A good play by Wooten. Let's check in with Jessica downstairs with Coach Ault. What did he have to say, Jessica?
I spoke to Coach Ault how he was able to settle down Fajardo in that second quarter, and he said he was running quick routes off the run reads. What that did is it settled him down, but it also got the running game going. Defensively, he said his defensive backs need to cut out the holding penalties. Other than that, he said they look good, but he'd like to see some more turnovers.
I really like the adjustment Ault made by going to that quick pass where the quarterback doesn't have to think. You set and throw, got his quarterback into a rhythm.
This is Johnson on first down, picks up a few yards. What did you think of, speaking of quick, the fact that the Golden Eagles went to a quick tempo deal after a slow start? Did it help them?
I always like going to that up tempo. Of course, there's that 20 total yards and 17 points in the second quarter. So didn't help that much on offense.
Davis with the pass complete. Number 18, Dominique Sullivan. Sullivan close to the first down. The third and short coming up.
And of course, Larry Fedora has often run the hurry up. Of course, he installed that great offense in Oklahoma State a few years ago.
Davis hasn't been able to really connect on a long one downfield. Comes underneath, and there it is. As you talked about, Sullivan making the grab for the first down. Pickup of 6.
And when you have a guy that's 6'4", not quite a hitch, he was almost like he was running a slant and then a quick stop. All he does is have to put his frame between himself and the cornerback, and that was an accurate throw by Davis.
These teams trying to cap off their season in a positive way. Davis, showing some good running for him, picks up the first down. Well, it is Christmas, so from all of us to all of you, a Merry Christmas. In Hawaii, they like to say Mele Kalikimaka. Spanish, Feliz Navidad. Joyeux Noël.
Nice.
6 years of French in school will do that for you. And Latin, I'm not going to try that one. First down, they give it to Desmond Johnson. Of course, I know Hugh Jones back at home would give that a shot. I'll say Merry Christmas to my family watching this game back home in Western Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. Approaching 6.5 minutes to go, second down and 10 for Southern Miss. Davis, incomplete. Wow, in and out of the arms of Dominique Sullivan.
Big miss right there. That's the most open I think I've seen a Southern Miss receiver the entire game. The ball thrown on time, accurately. Sullivan makes a nice cut. Fry can't quite gather himself, but turns to run right before the ball gets there.
3rd and 5 for the Golden Eagles. A little pressure coming. Boy, Sullivan zigged, and Davis thought he was going to zag. Incomplete, 4th and 5.
This offense just cannot get out of its own way. And here you are on the plus side of the field, and Southern Miss, and this is the territory where you consider going for it. Why not? You know, your offense hasn't done anything. And again, I think this has to be Davis. I think it's a short throw, a hitch, or a slant. But that corner route just looked terrible from the start.
Well, we're 2 for 2 on 4th downs today. Davis with nowhere to throw and nowhere to go. Incomplete. The Wolfpack howling.
And there's your guy, Roy. Although he does not make the sack, he comes clean, and Davis was never able to set his feet because Roy was hunting him down, and that gap was starting to close, and Davis knew it.
Well, you see the face paint, kind of echoing the rage that he plays with, refusing to lose the individual battles. That's what his coaches tell us.
But a lot of this has started with how well the Wolfpack have played in the secondary. Davis has nowhere to go. And Roy does a really nice job of coming down the line of scrimmage. And Rossetti doing the same thing.
That's a pretty jacked up coach right there.
Goes with a belly bump and gets knocked down. But that defensive staff should be jumping around. They're playing. We're saying a lot about what Southern Miss has done, but there's nobody open quite often for Austin Davis.
Jardo high and incomplete. Intended for number 81, Aaron Bradley, who, by the way, has been maybe their best receiver on the field today. Remember, if you're just joining us, Richard Matthews has not played in this ball game because he has been injured. He was injured in the last game of the regular season against Idaho and was scheduled to play. And then we're told that he felt that he wasn't confident enough in the knee to actually go today.
And with Matthews out, you already had Shane Anderson out with concussion since November. And Corbin Laux is out with a stress fracture in his foot, so you're down your top 3 receivers.
Jardo steps out of bounds at the 39-yard line. 3rd and long coming up.
And just like Nevada had great coverage downfield on that last set of downs, good coverage that time by Southern Miss as Fajardo was rolling to his right. Every receiver was blanketed. A really nice job by Marquise Wheaton staying on his assignment instead of coming off and trying to come up and tackle the quarterback.
3rd and 10 from the 39 for Nevada. And its last game in the Western Athletic Conference.
I feel like maybe a draw here to catch Southern Miss off guard.
Jardo Brought down and sacked at the 35 by Law. Or Darryl Law.
This is a tackle end line stunt. And Law is the man who finds himself coming free.
His 8.5 sack of the year.
Tackle end around to the inside. And Law does a wonderful job. There's an offensive lineman, Jeff Mead, standing there waiting for him. But that's the type of quickness and athletic ability Law has, and that's why the coaches pushed him so hard to bring up his work ethic. That's pretty good athleticism, making a guy whiff like that.
Catch called on the play. Was it touched? It's loose, but was it touched? Nevada says it's their football, and it is.
Well, and that's another huge mistake for Southern Miss.
Tracy Lampley was back there.
Yeah, but
Hester might have made the hit.
By Hester. Yeah. And Hester, remember the young man who had the fumble on the kickoff return with a fair catch. Every team has something that they yell to say to get away. And Hester, as he's going into block, does not know where Lampley has set up. And another mistake by Hester on special teams.
I'm not sure where it hit him.
It hit his left foot.
The team recovered. First down, Nevada.
Yeah, that ball hit the left foot of Lampley. So watch as the ball comes through, and just an unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
Another error by Southern Miss, and a huge momentum change for Nevada.
And you talk about room service. They got the ball at the 14-yard line. Different quarterback in the ball game now. It's Lantrip, and Lantrip, known more for his throwing ability, runs it this time inside the 10, down to about the 9-yard line. So a little change of pace here as Tyler Lantrip, who started the first 3 games of the season, comes in relief of Fajardo. Why do you think that is right here?
Well, and I don't think you can put it all on Fajardo. That the offense has been stumbling. They're not getting protection up front. But I think with a young quarterback, the fear may be, and I think it's the right decision. Let's go with the veteran guy, the senior who's been around, because we're in this game. We have some momentum. An interception would be terrible for Nevada. So I like this decision by all.
Keeps it again. And brought down from behind by who else? The guy they call the Law.
But I don't like the play calling. Lantrip is not the runner that Fajardo is. He's more of a passing quarterback. 2 quarterback runs in a row, and it's obvious Lantrip doesn't quite have the speed of Fajardo. So if you're going to bring your thrower in, you've got to call some throws.
You know, Law made life miserable for Case Keenum in that Conference USA title game, and he's doing the same for both Fajardo and Lantrip on this series. 3rd and 8 coming up. No time to throw, and another sack. He is laying down the law in a big way. The judge and the jury. He is bringing it. Well, he dominated that series, Ed.
Yeah, and he's unblocked to start, but watch number 86. He's going to come all the way across and try to get a block. Because of the misdirection, they're thinking they're going to get time to get Orense over there to make the block, but Law, the game is so slow. You hear about the people being in the zone. He is seeing everything. His body is reacting the way he wants it to. Here's a guy who's trying to make himself some money in the NFL draft come April with this ball game.
Alan Hardison from 37 yards away. And Nevada able to tie the game up at 17.
And so give a little bit of credit there that time to Alan Hardison.
Hester, who had a good kickoff return earlier, albeit fumbled. This time out to the 31-yard line. What do you make of Larry Fedora, the head coach on the sidelines today for Southern Miss? After today, the head coach for North Carolina. How does he fit at North Carolina? You hear whispers about that program being a sleeping giant. It was roaring when Mac Brown had it.
Here, yeah, and give Mac Brown credit. He was winning 10, 11 games, and that was back when Florida State was at their complete peak. Talking to Fedora, he said the entire athletic department is a top 10 athletic department. We'd like to get the football team there. But remember, the NCAA is hanging out there. And do not try to compare North Carolina to what just happened to Ohio State, because there's potential academic fraud, which could look at a bigger penalty for North Carolina than Ohio State was just handed down.
This is Johnson on the run, close to the first down. Nice run that time by Desmond Johnson. 45 minutes in the book in the 10th anniversary of the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. Nevada and Southern Mississippi tied at 17 apiece. As the rain comes down. 15 minutes to go. A little rain wouldn't bother me. Not with that kind of sunset. Welcome back, everyone, to Honolulu. Time now to take a look at our Vonage game summary.
Well, for Nevada in the second half, have not been able to get the running game going at all. Made a change at quarterback, although they're still running the ball quite a bit with Lantrip in there. But Cordero Law has taken this game over. He has been unbelievable here in the second half. They're moving him around. They're allowing him to use his athleticism. And it seems to me like he may be in the head of the Wolfpack at the moment.
Let's go downstairs to Jessica. What's the vibe on the sidelines from Southern Miss?
Well, standing behind their bench, there's been about 3 or 4 different coaches that have said, hey, you guys, we need enthusiasm. That is the key to winning this game. We get enthusiasm, we win. The reaction, frustration. There's definitely a lack of emotion on this sideline.
A good play by Davis. He saw nothing was happening as they tried to set up that pass to Lampley. And 2nd and 10 coming up.
And you have to give credit to Andy Bew, the defensive coordinator. Played here at Nevada, came back, spent 3 years at Stanford, but he and his staff, there's Bew on the right, he and his staff they have not been confused by anything today. They've been in great position. And how many times have we seen receivers open? It has been few and far between.
Davis on the pitch. Lampley trying to get to the edge. A nice straight arm. They're going to mark him out of bounds right around midfield, about 2 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2. In a good part of the field.
They went for it last time they were in this exact position. Let's see if they do it again.
Ten on the play clock. Davis on the slant, incomplete. Man, Sullivan is having a tough day. That's the 2nd drop that hit him right in the hands.
It's unbelievable how things go sometimes, and in what is looking like a defensive struggle, outruns the punt unit for Southern Miss.
Let me ask you this: at what point does Sullivan get fired?
That's the problem. When your offense is going bad, a lot of times everything starts to get bad.
Okay.
That's the 2nd drop by Sullivan, but it's not like the quarterback's been put on the right spot every time today either. So everybody's been struggling.
James punt fielded at the 11-yard line by Wooten. 10 Nevada, 80 yards away. Lamford Mark picks up 5. Has 6 consecutive 100-yard games, including tonight's.
And if there is anything that this pistol offense is designed to do, is at this point in the game, try to get that run game going again to eat clock, manage it. This pistol offense is a run-based offense. I know they're 50-50, 250 pass, 250 run, but make no bones about it. This is about running the ball here.
2nd and 5. Mark gets it again. Nowhere to go. It'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up. Do you think that we've seen the last of Fajardo?
Yes.
And do you think, so far, what do you make of the move to bring in his understudy, Lantrip?
I guess I understand the philosophy behind it. It's a senior. You're playing a defense, and it's going back. But the offense hasn't done much since he's been in. So right now, not crazy about the switch. I understand why Alt did it. But as of this moment, the offense hasn't done much at all. So
still plenty of time to go, though. 7:40 left in the 4th. Little blitz coming. Lantrip incomplete, intended for Bradley, and he was in scramble mode from the very beginning as Kyrie Thornton, a.k.a. the Beast, and the Law were laying it down on him. And it's 4th and 5.
What a great call by Dan Dish. He brings number 26, Kendrick Presley, from deep in the safety. Even though it's picked up by Mark, Lantrip had to move out of the way and they couldn't pick it up.
Bounces at the 43. Takes a Wolfpack bounce all the way down to the 32-yard line. Neither team's offense able to get on track. The 43-yard punt. Austin Davis, highly acclaimed, All-Conference USA, broke Brett Favre's record at Southern Miss, trying to live up to the hype when we come back. Wonderful sunsets here in Hawaii. Tied at 17 in the 10th anniversary of the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl.
The offenses have not been great, but I think a lot of it is these defenses have been so well prepared, played so physically, has a lot to do with this score.
This is Lampley, nowhere to go. Lampley was the MVP of that Conference USA Championship game, the upset against Houston. But tonight, these teams with
that's mind-blowing.
Fewer first downs than punts.
That's mind-blowing. When you talk about two of the top 20 offenses in the country, 2 of 14 teams that average over 200 yards passing and rushing, almost perfectly balanced both these clubs, to be tied at 17, just over 7 minutes left, and more punts than first down. Never would have guessed that for the Sheraton Hawaii.
Davis rifles it complete and he hangs onto it. Sullivan in open space. They kept going back to him despite the 2 drops, and he repays their faith with a big play.
Well, and Isaiah Fry took the chance of trying to knock this away, but gets there just a click late. Dominique Sullivan, because of the gamble by Fry. You tell defensive backs, if you're going to go for the ball, try to go through at least a piece of the receiver. So if you don't get it, you either knock him off of his run or you knock him down. And that time Fry didn't either.
42-yard gain. Davis looking to throw it downfield and overshoots an open man. Incomplete. Quentin Pierce. Another opportunity falling by the wayside for Davis.
And there was James Michael Johnson again coming from his linebacker spot. I'm really impressed with Johnson for Nevada. That was wide open, and the reason that Austin Davis couldn't wait to throw that ball is because of the speed of Johnson. Comes off the edge. He can really run, and it doesn't look like much, but because Davis knows he's there, he has to throw it earlier than he wants.
There's that heat coming. 2nd down and 10.
Mark that down as a hurry.
Sullivan split to the bottom of your screen, made the big 42-yard gain a moment ago. Open over the middle of the field, complete to Sprite. And he's brought down 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. William Sprite, the 5'10 senior, picks up 19, and this offense is cranking it out now. 1st and goal. The handoff to Johnson. Breaks a couple of tackles inside the 5 to about the 3. And it's 2nd and goal now. Actually, they get another 1st down.
And this is where, if you study Southern Miss, this is where they love the run action pass. Because they make no mistakes about it. It is a spread, but they run the ball very well. And watching them throughout the year and watching them on tape and in practice, they love the run action pass at exactly this spot.
Johnson, the lone back. Sullivan split to the top of your screen. He's their tallest receiver.
Because of the spread, no safety in that end zone.
Davis into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Ballantyne.
Well, they had it. Ballantyne ran a great route with the best hands on the team. He runs a corner. Ball was thrown just a little bit flat. You want more air on this ball so that the receiver has time to make an adjustment, but just slightly overthrown and a little too flat.
It's about the 3rd or 4th overthrow we've seen today from Davis, and you have to continue to ask about the wind.
In fairness to Davis on that one, Ballantyne did stumble a little bit out of his cut. So you have to take all of those into consideration when you're talking about the accuracy of the quarterback.
3rd and goal. Plenty of time. Touchdown. Bolden. Southern Miss with the lead, and Austin Davis marched them down the field 7 plays.
Bolden came all the way across the formation. They had the mismatch they wanted. A linebacker was trying to cover the fastest receiver. And Davis did a nice job of eluding a little bit of a rush to find him.
Extra point good, and a 7-point lead for Southern Mississippi on Kelvin Bolden's 7th touchdown catch of the season.
Bolden, you're going to see him come right across the formation. And he finds himself one-on-one against a linebacker who tries his best to hold him. But a good job by Davis as he eludes the rush and finds the man known as Peanut.
Yeah, I love that. 5:48 to go. Southern Mississippi now on the brink of a school record 12th victory. Just 2 defeats. As the rain comes down a little bit stronger here. Brock on the return. And Kendall Brock weaves his way out to the 23-yard line. Let's see if Lantrip can get this offense on track. That pass complete to Bradley. Bradley's been their most impressive receiver today. 9 yards. It'll be 2nd down and short coming up. Well, Kaepernick's not here anymore, but they do have 36 come from behind wins, 2 of them coming this year. Kaepernick now with the San Francisco 49ers, 2nd-round pick, led them to a great year last year, just 1 loss. A big win against Boise State. 2nd and 1 coming up. Mark gashes the front and gets the 1st down. Presley making the stop. An 11-yard gain, though, by Lanford Mark.
As much as Nevada has been running the ball between the tackles, I'd like to see something with a little reverse or something that tries to get some speed out on the edge. They've allowed Southern Miss to really focus on kind of the middle of that defense in the run game. See if they can get some stress on the outside on some type of fly speed reverse.
Lantrip off the play action. Throws up a duck. And it's incomplete. Intended for Bradley. Well, that was up there for a long time.
The ball just didn't come out of his hands.
Looked like Law was in the backfield there with the pressure.
Shocker. I mean, how many times have we said that tonight?
But they got some good nicknames up front. You see Law, they've got Thornton, Kyrie Thornton, 98. They call him the Beast. They've got Terrence Pope. They call him the Pope.
Well, those aren't very creative. I just go by the Cunningham, I guess. Come on, the Jones, call the play.
Lantrip overthrows his receiver who was wide open, Joe Huber. And in a blink, it's 3rd down and 10. Nevada with 2 timeouts remaining and maybe working against the clock.
Yeah, to me, again, I think you're in 4-down territory. You're playing with fire with this Southern Miss offense. They came out, they went right down the field, scored 7. So with 4:30 and change left at 3rd down, you know, you're thinking of something. Obviously, you want the first, but your quarterback needs to know 7-8 yards is a pretty good play right here because we're likely going for it on 4th.
Gets it away, pass complete to Bradley. Slick move, made a couple of nice ones, makes it a 4th and short. And I think if he didn't pick up the 1st down, if nothing else.
And Nevada, I think, should go fast here because Southern Miss, they're kind of walking back. You know you're going to go for it.
Great moves by Bradley.
I don't think this is a run between the tackles. How many times have we seen that? We saw the 4th down in the first half that fell short.
Well, Renzi has been a big factor for them during the course of the year. Aaron Bradley, number 81, has been their most productive receiver. Let's see what they do. 4th and 1. Down 7. Renzi in motion. They run it and get stuffed at midfield. Kyrie Thornton stops Lanford Mark. And the defense for Larry Fedora says, Coach, there's your going away present.
Well, they have not done anything in the middle today. Really surprised by this call. But watch the penetration by Thornton. He split between the left guard and the center. He splits the double team and pushes the center back into the running back. This has been a theme since about midway through the second quarter. I am shocked that Chris Ault called another run play between the tackles. It has not worked very much, and it hasn't worked twice now on 4th and short.
Well, that Southern Miss secondary gets a lot of the hype, a lot of the highlights, but the guys in the trenches came up big that time. 1st down and 10. Nevada with 1 timeout remaining. Davis with the bootleg. Complete to Lampley. Lampley pushed out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. Still running.
And I think you're looking at 340 and saying, why are they throwing the ball? Well, they haven't had much success at all running it today. The only thing that they've had success really was that last drive when they let Davis move around and throw it. So I like the aggressive play call by Southern Miss. Let's move the chains, burn the clock, and try to get out of here with a win, because we haven't been able to run it. So we're probably not going to be able to eat the rest of the clock with just the run game.
Davis' stats haven't been stellar today. We'll be happy with the win, though. Johnson cuts it north-south, keeps those legs churning, and picks up another Golden Eagle 1st down at the 26. Well, if you question their motivation coming into the game, they certainly look like they're playing for something now. 1st down and 10. A score here would pretty much put it out of reach. Johnson beside Davis. At what point does Nevada maybe start thinking about the timeout?
I know that's the problem, though. You only have the one. You know, I think you wait till a 2nd or 3rd down before you use it.
Johnson takes the handoff and battles his way to about the 25-yard line.
And I don't think you use it here if you're Nevada. I think you wait till 3rd down before you use it, or even 4th, because you've only got the one. So you're only going to get one chance to stop it. The defense has to make the stop. But at this point, Ratman, the kicker for Southern Miss, remember, he's missed 2 kicks today. So that's not a gimme for Southern Miss. They'd love to pick up the 1st down. If they pick up a 1st down, because Nevada only has 1 timeout, they can run out the clock without having to run another play. Just take knees.
Ratman 1 of 3 today. Clock really in favor of Southern Miss right now. Johnson on the top. Going to stay in bounds and stay on his feet, too. Hey, why not? All the way down to the 16-yard line, about a yard short of the 1st down, or right at the strike. They're going to give him the 1st down, actually. He got it.
And this ball game with 1 timeout, Southern Miss.
Little victory formation here. Davis takes a knee. And Nevada helpless to stop the clock. And right now it's all about the Gatorade planning. And on the East Coast, we're about 17 minutes away from Christmas. Christmas coming a little early for the people of Hattiesburg right now.
Amazing year.
And, of course, they're Central Time, right?
Ellis Johnson, I think, was a very good hire. I know people were upset, not able to go to the Liberty Bowl, which would have been an easy drive for them. Wondered about Ellis Johnson. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. This program has longevity. It's been around for a long time, and I think Ellis Johnson's going to continue that.
Davis takes a knee. This time I want to wish everyone at home a Merry Christmas. Wife Sarah, kids Shay, Gloria, and Sophia, parents, as Christmas starts on the sidelines. It'd be a shame to spoil that beautiful lay around his neck with Gatorade, Ed. They will get their school record 12th win, and Nevada, meanwhile, will fall to 7-6.
And you have to give a lot of credit to Chris Ault and his staff. You think about the guys that they lost offensively, led by Colin Kaepernick, obviously a 2nd-round pick in the NFL draft. But to come back, put together an offense like they did, find a young quarterback in Fajardo. And there goes the mini Gatorade. But give Chris Alt and his staff a lot of credit for a season that could have gone awry with a 1-3 start. They held it together pretty nicely, and moving into the Mountain West next year, looking pretty good with some of the offensive players they have coming back.
Once again, our final score from Aloha Stadium, 24-17. Mahalo from the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. Don't forget, December 26th is the Advocare Independence Bowl from Shreveport, Louisiana, with Mississippi and North Carolina. Don't forget, for the trophy presentation of this game, log on to ESPN3. Brett Cunningham, Jessica Mendoza, and our entire ESPN crew. I'm Mark Jones, saying aloha and mele kelikimaka from Honolulu, Hawaii. Folks, in the presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Merry Christmas. Santa's on his way. Sports Center coming up next.